Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Orleans Pelicans Podcast. I'm Gus Kattengell, along with Mr. Jame Eichenhofer, NewOrleansPelicans.com, and Mr. Andrew Lopez, television sideline reporter for your New Orleans Pelicans. Gentlemen, another week, as it is Thanksgiving week, and we always give thanks to just the fact that we can do this and talk a little basketball, right? I would start there, Jim.
Yeah, man. I mean, nobody has a better job. Maybe the players do.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to work in the NBA, cover a team all season. I know we wish things were going a little bit better, but I mean, yeah, you can't complain too much.
I think at the end of the day, we get paid to watch basketball games.
Exactly right.
I mean, like Jim said, it doesn't get any better than that.
No doubt. Now I know Andrew wouldn't mind being thankful for a little bit more sleep.
I absolutely
It's going to come. It's going to come.
Sleep, but we'll
obviously, eventually they do grow up and get a little older, so you're good. The old newborns. Gentlemen, let's start obviously with what took place towards the end of the week as we lead into this week, and that was a back-to-back set of games for the Pelicans. Andrew at Dallas, and then coming home and taking on a Atlanta Hawk team that had the SKC kind of going with a lot of their fans here over the weekend as the Falcons and Saints were playing. But
we don't have to talk about
when you look back at it gave us a great environment, right? We always
can talk about that on the other podcast.
Exactly.
I don't want to bring that up.
When you look at those two games, though, what stood out to you starting out in Dallas?
Still, I want to say the first half in Dallas might have been the best half of basketball they've played. Maybe all season, at least definitely it feels like under Borrego. There's so much to like in that first half. Unfortunately, you go, was it 0 for 12 from 3 in the second half? Threes weren't falling, and then unfortunately our friend Najee Marshall hits a 3 there at the end. But it felt like the best half. And then I think, and this is not an excuse, but this is just what it is. It's just the reality of the situation. Saturday was the 5th game in 7 nights. You're playing on a back-to-back. And not only are you playing on a back-to-back, it's a road-home back-to-back. So it's a travel back-to-back. And then Friday's game started at 7:30.
Right.
Saturday's game started at 6 o'clock. There was so much going on, and I think it looked to me like a team, while trying to figure out all of these different things, while trying to figure out a new offense and some new rotation pieces, that it looked like it got to them a little bit on Saturday, and Atlanta with a night off in New Orleans looked like the fresher team. And so that gauntlet is behind you, that whole week, which started off with, as James Borrego put it, 3 of the most unique scouts in the NBA in OKC, or in player wise, in Curry, Shea, and Jokic. And I think it just got there. So excited about the day off and kind of getting into Thanksgiving week, where the schedule kind of thins out in terms of days, although we do have another back-to-back this weekend.
Andrew covered Saturday. I don't think I want to add anything to that. I mean, to me, Friday was another example. I think you could put the Clippers game in this bucket as well. Of you had so many good individual performances, and at the end of the night, it kind of goes away a little bit because you don't win the game. So to me, that was such a missed opportunity. I loved watching Derek Queen play that night. I mean, I know we're going to talk about him, I'm sure, a lot in this show today, but I mean, he was fantastic. He's throwing behind the back passes transition.
I still don't. I was like, he's going to lob it up to Trey, right? Like, he's going to lob it up to Trey, right? And then he crosses the line. I was like, he's not lobbing it up. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the footwork he had, some of the moves he had around the basket to finish. I mean, it was unbelievable. There was probably a solid 2 minutes of highlights of just him, but it was just another case of, it was frustrating because the story kind of gets minimized a ton by the fact that they didn't win the game. If they win the game, I feel like a lot of people around the NBA are saying, like, what a performance by Derek Queen. Cooper Flagg played really well in that game as well. I think it was his career high in scoring to that point, but I think you could, not biased, say that Derek Queen was the best player on the floor in that game. So, I mean, like I said, I go back to the Clippers game. You had a fantastic Jordan Poole night where he's making a bunch of threes, but you lose the game at the buzzer. So, and it's a late Friday game. And so it just felt like another opportunity where you could get some positivity and some good buzz going around the team. And it doesn't happen because you lose by a point.
You mentioned it a little bit, and we kind of talked about it before we started recording here as well. 0 for 12 in that second half. at Dallas. The 3-point shooting, I can hear a graph in my ear right now. It's something we've brought up, I believe, and almost feel in every single either pregame, halftime, postgame. When you look at the season so far, almost getting to 20 full games, how do you view the issues beyond the arc for the Pels?
It's something that I think a lot of...
Because the shots are there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of fans thought at first, as soon as you saw Jame Borrego take over, you just automatically assumed this team was going to shoot 35, 43s a game. But he has spoken on it. And I've asked him about corner threes specifically, and then asked him about the total number. And he made two very good points. He's like, the way that this roster is constructed doesn't always allow for that at times. Speaking specifically of corner threes, he's like, the best corner threes are when you can drive and then kick. But if you do have a non-shooting 5 in, that big can sit in, that big, ideally in a corner 3 situation, you want that to get out to the corner.
Okay.
Have somebody collapse, and then that shot's open. If the big can just sit, it kind of makes it a little bit different, makes that pass harder. You can't really get out there. And then he's like, when you have so many guys right now who are predominantly paint touch guys, when you have a Zion, a Derek Queen, even right now Fears can, we've seen Fears start games 2 for 2, 3 for 3 sometimes from 3, but a lot of what he does is more predicated on getting to the hoop. I think in the Atlanta game, he might have had his first 13 shot attempts were twos.
Yeah.
Some of those a lot of those in the paint. But before he finally, I think, attempted a 3 late there in the fourth quarter. So it's adjusting, and I think some of this is the team adjusting to what they want on offense from Jame Borrego. We've seen a little bit of uptick in the corner threes. Maybe not as much as he wants. I know at one point in that Atlanta game, I think Atlanta had 17 corner threes to 7 corner threes to the Pels. So some tinkering is still going on with the offense, and I think we'll see maybe those numbers continue to go up, but it's JB trying to figure out where to make sure the right pieces are.
Yeah, Andrew, Fears had 13 shots total against Atlanta. He was only 0 for 1 from three-point range.
I think his first 12 then were in the paint. I think that last one was like 3 minutes left.
And I do think that it is mostly a personnel thing, not necessarily the way that they're trying to attack. Right. It's just players have tendencies, and even the guys that have just come into the league, they play a certain way, and it's going to take a while to maybe, I don't know if this is going to be a goal down the road, but eventually have Fears have more of a balance between how many threes he takes and how much he tries to get into the paint as he gains more confidence in his shot. I know he was kind of an average 3-point shooter in college. It wasn't like the thing that he was known for. But, I mean, to me, it's really Trey Murphy and Saddiq Bey. And among the guys that are playing right now, they're the ones that you say, okay, these are high-volume 3-point shooters. You're not surprised if they make 3 or 4 in a game, whereas most of the rest of the squad, it's kind of, that's not what they're known for. And I mentioned Jordan Poole earlier. I mean, he's another case of you got to get him back on the court if you want to help the volume as well.
I was going to say, I guarantee you, as soon as Jordan Poole comes back up, the 3-point attempts per game are going to go back up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's part of it, but there's no doubt. I mean, Borrego has mentioned the math problem lately, that they've had a lot of games where the other teams are making more threes and taking many more. I feel like this was more of a thing that we saw in the NBA or with the Pelicans specifically like 8-10 years ago when other teams started taking more threes and they kind of lagged in that area. But yeah, it's definitely a problem that is something that they're going to have to improve, because you don't want to give up 24 to 30 points a game just in that category that you have to make up in other areas. Now, with Zion playing, they're going to have an advantage in paint points on a lot of these teams, but still, that's a huge gap.
No, I think I did, not a mathematician by any means whatsoever, but 51 of their total points that the Hawks had were from 3-pointers, and 57 were from 2-pointers. Yeah. And that's almost half of your points coming, and that's a battle that, man, is going to be tough to beat.
And JB has talked about that. He's talked about the math equation, but and he had a very good answer to this, I think, post-game the other night. Do you shoot threes just because of the math equation, or do you shoot threes because they're good shots?
Right.
And I think that is the balance that they're trying to find right now. You can tell them, hey, go out and shoot 50 a game, but if it doesn't work because they're all bad shots.
Right.
Okay, well, you're going to go 2 for 20 on those extra threes anyway, and that's
Sure.
18 transition opportunities. So I think it's a balance of finding it, but where this team works, what works the best for this group.
And it has to be the guys that are comfortable doing it. You
Yes.
can't go into a game and say, Yves Messi and Zion, we need you to take 6 threes a game because we need to get the team volume up, and we don't want you to play in the paint as much. It doesn't work. So, I mean, I think that's part of the logic, that he explained really well. We've already mentioned some of the changes that have happened with Jame Borrego. Can we kind of discuss, some of the things that he's changed, some of the things that have been tweaks? I think overall, my biggest kind of overall point since he's come in has been that the team's been more competitive. They haven't won a game yet in the first 5 that he's taken over as we record this on Monday morning, but the 30-point losses have gone away. What are some of the things that you've seen so far that he's tweaked and he's tried to change?
Yeah, I think really, I feel like of those first 5, the worst loss was the Atlanta one that we have explained was the 5th and 7, the back-to-back, et cetera, et cetera. If there's a lot of things that he's tried to do that just kind of change the energy of the team, which I think is key. He's kind of switched up shoot-arounds. He's switched up practices, moved practice courts from one practice court to the other in the facility. Just every little thing to try and get something out of these guys. And I think you've also seen obviously a little bit of a new offense in what he's trying to do. And I think kind of maybe why you've seen that kind of you're trying to put some new stuff in the middle of the year. And again, it's just trying to change the energy. Whenever you have a situation like this, I think in any sport, an interim coach coming in, that interim coach is going to try to, put his spin on things, bring a little bit different anything, especially when your team's record is the way it is. And I think that's what we see JB doing. But it definitely felt like a new energy. And again, it's a heck of a way to have to start with what that schedule was last week. So, but you can see him kind of putting his imprint on things and trying to make things just a little bit better.
Are we seeing a little bit more? This is not a 48-minute thing. I hope it will be eventually or close to 48 minutes. I feel like we're seeing a little bit more aggressiveness on defense too. We're seeing some stretches where they're hounding the ball handler. They're playing full court press. They're some of the spans of, say, a quarter or 5-6 minutes of a game where it feels like low energy. It feels like they're kind of chipping away at that. Would you agree with that in terms of the strategy and the defense, at least in segments?
I want to say that probably started Denver. I feel like that was second half Denver. And I think that was his post game thing was, he says, I wish we would have done that earlier. I wish I would have done that. And I'll say this, and this is not a he does something good, Willie did something bad argument. But I think what Willie would do, and when Willie would make adjustments or feel like something happened, he would keep that to his coaching staff, and they would make those adjustments. I think Borrego is a little bit more forthcoming in some of his press conferences. Again, not good, not bad. That's just how he is. And so you hear him admit mistakes a little bit more, but only because we've seen it. He likes to talk in his press conferences, and they run a little long sometimes. But I think he has said those things. Whereas where it was Willie, he may feel the same way, or those questions or concerns would be brought up, but they would just change them the next game anyway. I think JB kind of says it a little bit more, and by that, I think maybe some fans think that he's doing more. I was like, I think all coaches do this, but I think JB is more of hey, I see this, I want to change this, that the defensive aggression was definitely something that he talked about in Denver, and then you tried to start that with in Dallas. Again, had 20 turnovers or 20 takeaways, however you want to put it, forced 20 turnovers. It just did not carry over to Atlanta for, again, the reasons we have said.
And I've always felt, too, like one of the other things that I've noticed, this team gets its best, offensive momentum going when they attack the paint. And they using that pace and attacking it. And, look, maybe one way to counter when you're not making those threes or something like that is to finish at the rim. Our percentage is incredible. We can get to the rim. It's if we could finish at the rim, we'd be having a lot more points. we're unofficially counting in that Dallas game 20 missed layups. You make half of those, that's 20 points, right then and there, as you can have in a game you lost by 3 or something. So I think when you look at that, it's there. You're starting to see it kind of put together. To your point, they know what works, they know what they need to work on, and they know what they can still add. It's just now time. You mentioned the schedule. How do we practice? How do we get these minutes on the court with these units as well?
The finishing is a huge part of this. You obviously you want to be higher on your layup percentage. You want to be not hovering around 50% on your shots in the paint, which is something that I think we've seen this team do probably more often than they want to this year. So the fact that you have guys like Fears who are sometimes looking for contact, not getting the calls, or you're driving guys, and this is something Borrego has talked about. When you get those fast break opportunities, I think Denver, it was 20 turnovers, 24 points off 20 turnovers. Dallas, it was 22 points off 20 turnovers. I could have had those games back up. But you want to see those numbers closer to, if you have 20 turnovers in a game, if you force 20 turnovers, you want to see that number closer to 30, 32. Against Oklahoma City, you forced 18 turnovers and it was 32 points. Or 30 points. That's a ratio you want to see. So if you have 8 more points in that Denver game, that's flipped.
Right.
If you have 8 more points in that Dallas game, that result is flipped. So making better decisions when you get the turnovers is key. Not driving into 3 guys, not driving into 2 guys, understanding your advantage of, hey, it's 2-on-4, let's pull, let's back it out. So I think that's also just something that the team is pressing, I think, a little bit. Everybody's aware of the record. And I think you're trying to do that extra little thing. Like, I got to try to get 2 points here, where, just kind of understanding some things. And I think it's just a lot of guys trying to do things to win games, but, it's just something that the team has to be aware of.
This offense just needs an injection of some juice and some easy baskets. And I think with the fast breaking and transition, I think that is crucial when you're struggling to make threes, you're struggling to finish around the basket. They just need easy offense, and whether that comes in the form of Jordan Poole comes back, Zion gets back into a rhythm where he's playing, more frequently. They just need a boost, and I think that one of the things that Borrego talked about with the transition and capitalizing after turnovers is just decision making. They just need to make better decisions, and if you have a 3-on-2. I mean, I'm going to make old school basketball fans happy, but at this point, it's like, don't veer out to the 3-point line. Just go to the basket and get a layup. And I think, they just need a lot more consistency with the offense. And I think the fast break will be one way that they can do that.
It's easy to look at the fourth quarter and say, hey, you won or lost the game there. It's in the first or second where you mentioned, and you had a fast break opportunity in Dallas, Jeremiah Fears, you get a steal, and then you miss 2 free throws. Those are 2 points you could always get back. You talked about juice. Is there any player right now wearing a Pelicans uniform that's providing more juice than Derek Queen?
Not a lot. I will say that the only guy I think that could even get in there, that conversation, is there has been in the last week, there's like a 4-minute stretch per game, usually in the first half, where Trey Murphy decides, I'm going to go to the basket every time and you're not going to stop me. I'm going to get fouled. I'm going to make some shots. I think that was the ridiculous high arcing reverse layup that he had the other day as well. But on a consistent basis, what you see from Derek Queen has been, I'm going to be the hub of this offense, and we're going to make some plays around this. And I think it's been fun to watch for all of the offseason noise surrounding him, to see him kind of shine and perform the way he does has been incredible. It's fantastic to watch. To see NBA Twitter, NBA social in general start to embrace him. You see clips of his highlights every single game. You see all of these different things. That makes me feel good for the kid himself to see some people, because he admitted it after the Dallas game. He's on socials, he sees it. think he even admitted he was a little bit of a troll a little bit the other night in one of his tweets. But to see him kind of get a little bit of that love from the NBA community has been fun.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh wait, he's actually a basketball player that plays basketball in these games, and
who might be good at it. Who
right,
might be very
right.
good. Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, it's been eye opening. So it's been it's just been fun. I mean, it's unfortunately the team results have not been there, but watching him play has been a breath of fresh air. It's been great.
That's incredible. 30 points, 20 points, and 20 points the last 3 games combined. And something that we've seen, Jim, and I know the rookies have been a big topic too, is you're sitting there hearing opposing teams and opposing coaches say our game plan is to take the ball out of his hands, which is kind of remarkable. So as we do player of the week and player to watch, as Jim likes to do, is Derek Queen one of them?
He is the player of the week.
There it is.
I'm
Look
sure
at
that's
that.
not
See?
a surprise. He averaged 19.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 1.8 steals. I mean, just across the board, he's doing everything. I mean, he had some blocks as well. I mean, beyond maybe the numbers, I mean, what do you think among the production is the thing that stands out to you the most, or is the most impressive?
It's kind of funny. I had a friendly, I don't even call it a bet. I had a hot take that I had with Antonio Daniels. I said Derek Queen's first double-double is going to come with assist. And he's like, no, it's going to come with rebound. I was like, it's going to come with assist. And he even got double-digit rebounds one game.
Yeah.
And I was like, but he finished with 9 points.
9 points, right.
So when he got the 11 assists, the 10 assists the other night, I think it was in Dallas. The sideline reporter sits in front of the play-by-play in the analyst or the color guy. So I sit right in front of
as it should be, right?
Instead of like any other arena where like there's a lot of arenas where
You're
we're
in
off
the
to the
corner,
side,
yeah,
in the
exactly.
corner, you're everywhere. I literally, when he got the 10th assist, I just kind of did one of these, just
Yep.
right to AD behind me, and he's like, all right. But all that aside, the great numbers, the offense, it's been the defense. And I think when I spoke with Borrego, I asked him, I think, of one of these press conferences about this, and he said even he didn't think that DQ's one-on-one defense was going to be so good. The ability to guard your matchup, where we don't have to bring any help, we don't have to bring anybody else. His ability to rebound has been kind of eye-opening to them. We've all talked about maybe the entire rookie class being a little bit better earlier than we thought, but especially on the defensive end for DQ.
I think his feet are really quick and his hands might be quicker sometimes. I think that's how he's getting a lot of these steals is just parts of his game that you didn't realize that are so good. Moving on to the player to watch, I'm going to go with Zion, and this is for the games against Memphis and then at Golden State and at the Lakers. Will he play in back-to-backs? We're not sure. But the next back-to-back is Saturday and Sunday at Golden State at the Lakers. I guess we'll have to wait and find out on that. Either way, the good news is that after that, the team does not have a back-to-back until December 22nd and 23rd. But I'm for this week, and part of why I pick him for the player to watch is just these opponents. In the opening game against Memphis, he had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals. Was a great force. Didn't play in either game against Golden State or Lakers when they were here. So just curious to see what impact he has.
Again, talk about Trey having that 4 to 5 minute stretch per game where it's usually in the first half where he just kind of takes over. We saw that again, I think, at Dallas with Z. For the first game and a half, I think some of that offense was still run through DQ. And I think even DQ said it, like, I don't have 30 in a game against Denver if Zion's not on the floor. Right. Because he's playing off of Zion's gravity. It doesn't happen if Z's not there. And I know it's not either or. It's they can work together. Right. Fourth quarter, late third quarter, fourth quarter of that Dallas game, Zion was like, no, I'm just going to get to the rim. And continuously got to the rim, was drawing fouls, was doing all of that. So I think I'm very excited to continue to see how they play off of each other. Trying to find that balance between how much you want to have the ball in DQ's hands, how much you want to have the ball in Z's hands, how much you want to just let one make reads. I think they both have exceptional passing abilities, especially as you kind of have Jeremiah Fears kind of come along and understand the point guard position. I think it's going to be a great week to watch both of these guys continue to try to develop and see where they're going.
DQ sees everything. That's one of my favorite parts of his game is that if somebody's open and he has the ball, the ball's going to arrive. It's going to get there.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the part that's fun. Before we go, I wanted to talk kind of specifically about the three opponents that the Pelicans have Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. As I mentioned, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Lakers. And I have some trending numbers. I know you enjoy this, Gus. For Memphis, the trending number is 10, and that is 10 different players have started a game already for the Grizzlies. Pelicans actually have 11. So they have them beat by a little bit. I think we're up there. But I'm sure from a Grizzlies standpoint, they're already sick of how much people are talking about their injuries. But, I mean, it is the biggest story of the team right now. John Morant's not going to play Wednesday. Jaren Jackson Jr. is day-to-day with an ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Clark, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr. none of them have even played this season.
Wow.
So, I mean, you're looking at, as you preview that game, you're looking at just a different Memphis Grizzlies look than what we've seen.
And Scottie Pippen Jr., I think, was ruled out like right before the season opener, because it was like we got there and it was like, oh, he's not playing. But it's another team who you almost feel like they want to are they going to have to pull a Memphis Grizzlies again from 2 seasons ago where the injuries hurt? But
right.
I think you've seen what you can get in Golden State. You've seen what you have in the Lakers. I think hopefully you're just a little bit healthier this time around.
And look, it's not a category you have a player to watch or a player to look for. I'm a player looking forward to here. Jordan Poole's got to be around the corner, and we're a month closer perhaps to DeJounte Murray. Those are guys that can help you on the offensive end. So we're getting closer. Let's see what takes place. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys one more time, as we are very thankful to be doing what we do, and more importantly, we're thankful for you being Pels fans and joining us.